How one $350,000 investment becomes $1 million in real estate to provide housing for returning citizens in Georgia. A Gwinnett County Reimbursement Housing Grant Program. The presentation today is from LifeChangers Legacy, doing business as Chabar Ministries, a 501c3 Georgia nonprofit organization. The problem: nowhere to go. Reentry. At least 95% of those who enter state prisons return to society at some point. Nearly 700,000 offenders were released from state and federal prisons in 2011. The recidivism rate, which is the number of people that return to prison, 2 of 3 offenders released from prison are rearrested within 3 years, and 4 in 10 offenders return to prison within 3 years of their release. Georgia has released an average of 20,000 offenders per year over the last 5 years, and 21% are released with no supervision at all. The recidivism rate in Georgia has remained unchanged at nearly 50% over the past decade. That means nearly 1 in 3 people or more released from prison return there within 3 years, unless they are changed while they're in prison, and that's a big if. Criminal records. Well, nowhere to go. 40% of Georgians have a criminal record. We also lead the nation with over 200,000 people on probation, which is 321% higher than the national average. Cause of repeat offenders. Having no option of a new and better chance, they return back to the old playgrounds. They become homeless due to overcrowding in homeless shelters. The cause of recidivism is complex and likely due to a combination of personal, sociological, economic, and lifestyle factors. Common explanations for recidivism include elements within the criminal justice system might make someone more likely to engage in criminal behavior, and there are often no transition homes available to parole to. LifeChangers Legacy's mission is to provide a better second chance for returning citizens. We seek to help communities thrive due to biblically transformed individuals from prison and their families actively living their lives with purpose, on purpose, for God's purposes. Our mission is to equip mentors to help break the cycle of addictions and help restore individuals from incarceration back into society, reducing recidivism and reducing homelessness. We've been reducing recidivism since 2017 when we expanded our mentorship program by offering a 4-phase workbook curriculum, I See Me Free incentive mentorship program within the prisons, through email and video visit, and in prison groups. LifeChangers Legacy is a prison and reentry mentorship program. The LifeChangers Legacy solution. We've developed a standardized, research-evaluated, evidence-based best practices program to reduce recidivism while they are in prison. Our research shows that recidivism risk can be effectively reduced through evidence-based programming that targets criminogenic issues through our I See Me Free incentive mentorship courses with cognitive thinking, stages of change, criminal thinking combined with biblical principles within the prisons before they parole out to our transition housing programs with full wraparound services with job readiness and placement. Mentors correspond through email and video visit to walk alongside their mentee once a week. We deal with the biometrics of the physiological damages caused by drug and alcohol use, no matter how long they've been without the usage, and that is what we do at our new Uniquely You Resource Center located in Cumming, Georgia, with a variety of therapies offered. Let's talk about the Gwinnett County Reimbursement Housing Grant. It's a grant provided to create a solution to a housing crisis for returning citizens. LifeChangers Legacy has been participating for the last 24 months on various Gwinnett County programs serving those who need assistance during the COVID crisis. we've earned the opportunity to apply for this $1,119,000 housing grant. The Gwinnett County Reimbursement Housing Grant with LifeChangers Legacy has already received 2 grants from Gwinnett County Grant Program, and that's why we're able to apply for the 3rd grant. The first one that we received was called the COVID Relief Grant, issued in December of 2020, and we were able to disperse $100,000 to those in need of housing and utilities assistance. A second equipment grant, which is now underway, allows us to purchase hyperbaric oxygen chambers, which helps the total reboot of people's system and the health of their bodies, transport van, computers, a printer, software, and a truck to distribute food, etc. Our 3rd housing grant, which is the topic of this presentation, is a $1,119,000 grant. It should be noted that LifeChangers Legacy and Pamela Hillman received the GGRA 2021 Nathan Deal Second Chance Award for her contributions in helping returning citizens have a second chance. And so we're very proud of her for receiving that. And it also recognizes the favor that Gwinnett County has toward LifeChangers Legacy. Let's look at the specifics of the housing grant. In order to receive this grant, we're going to need a one-time gift or investment of $350,000 that will allow us to ultimately buy 4 houses. The investment loan given to LifeChangers Legacy will be provided at an 8% over a 10-year loan with a balloon payment of $100,000. The first house is purchased by LifeChangers Legacy to provide housing for the returning citizens. Each house will generate an estimated income of between $8,000 and $25,000 a month based on occupancy starting in the 3rd month. We'll explain that later. Partnership with the Department of Corrections and ensures the inmates are paroled to us right away. They have thousands waiting for an address to parole to, so we will be the solution to the department's big problem. The 3rd housing grant, as I mentioned, is $1,119,000. So we need to secure 4 pledges, not necessarily payments, of $250,000 each for 4 houses. That includes the following with the purchase of the first home. You see, the first home, we're going to allow a budget of $250,000, but we need an additional $100,000 for items like permit fees and inspections, legal fees, construction, labor, materials, design services, site preparation, paint, closing costs, home buyer assistance, inspections, and legal fees. And so this is why we need our first loan to cover $350,000. So the $350,000 from an investor loan is made to LifeChangers Legacy at 8% over 10 years with a balloon payment of $100,000 in year 10. House number 1 is purchased by LCL to provide housing for returning citizens. Each house will generate an estimated income of $8,000 to $25,000 a month based on occupancy. Step 2 is Gwinnett County Housing Grant provides to LCL for reimbursement of that $250,000 purchase amount, leaving zero balance of the first house. LCL will own the house with one mortgage to the investor. Step number 3 is the same $250,000 reimbursed will be used again to purchase the second house debt-free. Once that house is purchased, the grant reimbursement of $250,000 is issued back to LCL. The same $250,000 reimbursed to LCL would be used again to purchase the third house debt-free. Once that house is purchased, the grant reimbursement of $250,000 is issued to LCL. Then in step 5, the same $250,000 reimbursed to LCL will be issued again to purchase the third house debt-free, And once that house is purchased, the Gwinnett County Housing Grant reimbursement of $250,000 is issued to LCL, and these proceeds are used to purchase house number 4. These proceeds are used to purchase house number 4. So what is needed for this opportunity? LifeChangers Legacy desires to participate in this grant to further the mission of LifeChangers Legacy in impacting the returning citizens that need an opportunity to re-enter society to have a better life. Our program has a proven track record of transforming lives from the inside out. Since we began our one-to-one incentive mentoring program, we've had no one return to prison who have gone through our in-prison mentor process. But in order to participate in this program, we need a donation or an investor of $350,000 that will allow us to acquire the $1 million in homes that will generate significant revenue to provide ongoing support for this vital ministry to those who are often lost and forgotten within the prison system. So, a quick review. $350,000 investment, 8% interest, balloon payment at the end of 10 years of $100,000. Financing $250,000 gives you $3,033 a month at 8%, 120 months with a payment of $100,000 at the end of 10 years, and an interest of $113,982 is paid to the investor. The security is the first home. How we generate monthly revenue. Let's talk about that. You see, RPH, called Reentry Partnership Housing, Georgia Department of Community Supervision, pays $750 per person for a 6-month stay in a transitional house. New people are replaced by those who leave within 2 weeks. Demand for housing is extremely great. There's an extreme shortage of places for returning citizens to go for transitional housing. So here's the pro forma. We project that a minimum of $8,000 a month and a high of $25,000 a month is achievable with each house. And that would mean that we would be generating among 4 houses a minimum of $32,000 a month or a maximum of $100,000 a month. Let's summarize. The initial loan of $350,000, the loan of an 8% 10-year balloon, and the payment. Purchase of house number 1 from loan, reimbursement via grant number 1, $250,000 from the grant. Use the same $250,000 to purchase house number 2. Reimbursement via grant from the housing grant of $250,000. Use the same $250,000 to purchase house number 3. Reimbursement via grant number 3 of $250,000 from the housing grant. And then we use the same $250,000 to purchase house number 4. So that's how we get $1 million worth of real estate is purchased for one loan amount. And that's why we need a commitment letter of 4, but we'll only need money from one of those. The Lindell Recovery Network has partnered with us to use our 4-phase workbook to help stop addiction. Mike Lindell, CEO of My Pillow Company, said this: "This is one of the best programs I've ever seen. This is why I've chosen to partner with Pamela and LifeChangers Legacy and the I See Me Free programs. I am endorsing them, and I encourage you to support this life-changing ministry as well. This is one of the best ministries ever." So, that concludes our presentation. If you'd like more information, please contact Pamela Hillman at 678-768-1978 or write her at her email, pamela@lifechangerslegacy.org. God bless you, and thank you for being with us today.